good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and we're going to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we do, the usual rant and then on to the disclaimers. Now, because somehow the stupid always seems to muddle its way onto my TL in spite of my best efforts, I had to encounter some idiots who are once again mocking Johnny's clothes. To get particular, this particular twink allow me to grab it for you. I really, really can't deal with the special level of stupid that some of these people have. I really can't. But no. People gotta go and have some dumb. So bear with me, I gotta find it on my notifications. Remember, I do not have an edit button, nor am I a master producer of any kind. So you have individuals in the AH stan area who like to sit there and talk about his clothing incessantly, as though clothing is somehow an indicator of health. But wait, there's more. I can't. I literally can't. This is a take of somebody who's supposed to be allegedly on his side here. Yeah, that. And then there's more. Yeah. So while I'm going through all this, so we can talk about the picture in question here. This. Now, being a particular individual who was from the grunge area, and who a good majority of the time still dresses grunge. And believe it or not, even this current ensemble here would be considered like low-key grunge. Allow me to educate you. So you say you wore jackets with paint all over them and looked like bums? Yes, Karen, I am, actually. I grew up in that era, okay? I dressed like that. I still dress like that. It's, first of all, not a new development. He has literally dressed like that from the 90s on, as a good majority of us do till this very day, my mother included, my stepdad included. A lot of the people that I grew up with included. It was the grunge movement. Our beauty standards are not the same, okay? We were anti-traditional beauty standards. We were anti-establishment, anti-PC, and we were in your face about it. And a good majority of us who came up during that time still are. It's who we are. This is why my generation sitting here watching you kids basically regurgitate spoon-fed points directly from the media fills me with such depression. Because we knew it was a lie in the 90s. That's why we fought against it. Do you understand? We knew it was bullshit. We were anti-establishment, and you all are just basically eating up whatever the establishment tells you and regurgitating it like it's your own thoughts. It's the most nauseating thing to watch that I can even remember. Okay? That's how our generation dressed. It's how many of us still dress. My brother still dresses like that. I still dress like that. Stepsister, stepbrother, my oldest brother, my second oldest brother. It wasn't that long ago, folks. The grunge movement didn't happen like back in the 40s. And let me get you to another point when you're like, it feels like there's no good people in his life. Are you freaking on crack? Since when is someone's clothing somehow a measure of their health? No. Explain it to me like I'm 5. Because as I have stated on numerous occasions, my mother has been in the healthcare field longer than a good majority of these people complaining and saying this stupid crap have been alive. I dress in grunge, very obviously. How many times have you all seen me wear that jean vest on this channel? It's almost like a religious thing. I pretty much have it in almost the majority of my videos. I grew up around hospitals my entire life. Let me make it more clear. I get up at 2 a.m. every single morning, and I exercise. I take my vitamins and my supplements, and for a good majority of the time, eat healthy. I also exercise immediately right after I get off of work, every single day. You know what I also do? I wear grunge when I'm not living in pajamas. So tell me, how's my preferred clothing in any way, shape, or form an indicator of my overall health? It isn't. This is just one of those other things where I just take a look and stare at you neurotypicals and wonder what in the actual hell is wrong with you. How on earth can you equate how someone dresses with whether they're healthy or not, or whether they have good people in their lives? The good majority of us who grew up in that area are full grown-ass adults. Okay? We choose who is in our lives. We determine their value. Not you, little Miss Karen, sitting there judging everybody on the other side of your computer screen. Who are you to sit there and say there are no good people in an individual's life just because they continue to dress in the same mode of clothing that they've had since the grunge era? It's clothes. Clothes do not maketh the man or the woman or the non-binary or how you wish to identify yourself. Clothes do not make us who we are, or are they an indicator of anything other than our preferred style in clothing? That's it. That's all it is. I can tell you, coming from that era. Sitting there talking about the paint stains and the hats. Good Lord. We were the ones who started the whole ripped jean trend. At least we kind of took it from the 80s and took it to the next level. That whole duct taped and torn to hell jeans where some of them are only held together by duct tape and then the safety pins. Yeah, that was us. But we got ours legitimately. There was no designer stylist creating that look for us. We were known to go off because we were kind of a little daredevils, do stupid crap, would wipe out, as we used to call it, and that is how we would get holes in our clothing, to the point where we then would have to hold them together with safety pins and duct tape. Okay? You understand where we're going here? Good. It is nonsensical to measure an individual's health by their clothing. It is nonsensical to judge the quality of the people that are surrounding an individual by their clothing. It is even more insane that you feel like the people in our lives should be able to dictate to us, grown-ass human beings, what we can and cannot wear. For the love of God, ask my aunt and my mother how far they got with me in that conversation. Okay? Okay? Granted, my mom tended to agree with my clothing choices. It was more me and my aunt that would butt heads like we were both prized bulldogs getting ready to brawl, but that's another story entirely. The point is, they're just clothes. My generation wears what we're comfortable in. Like many other generations preceding us, that just so happens to be the clothing that was popular when we were growing up as kids. It is no indicator of health or the quality of people that we surround ourselves with. Sit down. You can wear an Armani suit every single day of your life and still be suffering from a terminal disease. You can spend your entirety of your budget shopping purely only at thrift stores for clothing and still be healthy as a horse. This is ridiculous. And also, speaking on clothing, one of the biggest things that's a massive no-no when it comes to us neurodiverse folks is when you start picking at our clothing. You have no idea why we wear the clothes that we do, or the amount of care that we have to put in selecting that clothing, because of things you can't even imagine having to comprehend. Sensory issues, clothes that cause rashes, clothes that can literally cause meltdown due to the sensory issues that they cause. We have to watch what fabrics we use. We even have to watch what soap we use on our clothes when we wash them, so that they do not cause some kind of reaction because of our hypersensory issues. We are not dressing to impress you unless it is an actual obligatory thing that we have to go to and do, in which case we will don the formal clothing according to the occasion. But by and large, folks, we wear what we are comfortable in. We wear the fabrics and even the colors we do, right down to the types of soaps that we use to wash our clothes due to issues that you cannot comprehend. Okay? Back off. I don't know what the neurotypical obsession is with fashion and clothes, and you always have to be trending, but I have thought you were ridiculous then, and I still think you're ridiculous now. Alright? They're clothes. Are they comfortable? Are they functional? Do I like how I look in those items of clothing? If the answer is yes, we're good. Alright? All I'm saying is the educational system has horrifically failed this last generation. And I have yet to see anything else to cause me to question that assessment. Now to the disclaimers. God. In the description box, folks, you're going to find a link to the article that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It's written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so-called behavior modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much they have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. So, folks, please read that article and share it on all your social media. And before I jump on to the other disclaimers, because this thought just popped up to me, as far as you talking about the paint on his jacket, allow me to elaborate for you on some of the things that we would do to our clothes when we were in the grunge era. We would use permanent markers on our jeans and paint and pins. Ballpoint pins were something I would use to permanently draw designs on my jeans. That was my one. Mom didn't care about the holes or all the rest of it, but the drawing with the Sharpie markers and the pins were kind of, that was her breaking point. That was her breaking point. She could understand the ripped jeans coming from the 80s, but that, you see my point, right? Yeah. Okay. Back to the disclaimers. We also have linked in there NeuroClastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe that we are crowdfunding, folks, in case the JRC actually has the balls to see through with their threat. Also linked in there the Ozark's first article in regards to the Agape boarding school / now known as Stone for Help boarding school situation. This is a so-called Christian-themed boarding school based in Stockton, Missouri that takes in so-called troubled male teens, that has and counting folks over 21 civil lawsuits, claims, and allegations leveled against it, all which have been substantiated thus far by the Missouri Department of Social Services, and they include following: sodomy, rape, sexual assault, child abuse, psychological and emotional abuse, child trafficking, starvation, and that's just for starters. You have one former staff member arrested by the FBI, another, a doctor, still on the premises with full access of the boys up on multiple claims of sodomy, rape, and sexual assault, all which also have been substantiated. You have an attorney general too busy trying and failing to defund public libraries and chasing after drag queens to actually do his job. And our governor is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, to use a 90s term, speaking of the 90s. Okay? So please send help. Share that article on all your social media, alright? Alright, of course we have all the usual links that are pertinent to the Stop the Shock campaign, including Hoya's massive archive on the subject, Jennifer Masembo's behavioral sheet of shockable offenses, a clip out of the 7-hour ordeal undergone by Andre McCollins back in 2002, and the ever-present, self-explanatory Change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. When we discuss the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, folks, please use your headphones, all right? Alright, this channel is marked not for children for a reason. We use profanity on occasion and we speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, very obviously, folks, parental supervision is advised, alright? Alright, folks, trigger warning! We are about to once again descend into the mad ravings of the lunatic mind known as Dr. Matthew Israel. You're going to hear gaslighting, victim blaming, pseudoscience, lies, abuse and torture apologencia, and all coming from a man with a massive ego and even larger God complex. So, folks, be prepared for the condescending, high-handed appeal to authority bunch of stupid that we're getting ready to read right now, okay? All right, let's dig in, shall we? The behavior in question is the first member of a chain, closely linked sequence of behaviors that terminates in a major aggressive, self-abusive, or otherwise seriously problematic behavior. A discussion of the treatment of bolting out of one's seat is included in item 8 above this section. No, doctor, you still don't get it! He keeps saying that it's a sequence of events that's going to lead to aggression, and they're going to hurt themselves or hurt others. I will state again, the special level of logical fallacy that this is, doctor. There are many reasons that, yes, even one known to have aggressive behaviors may pop out of their seat. It is possible I may be getting out of my seat to punch you in the face because you are a liar, an abuser, and a torturer, an experimental POS on the level of Yusuf Mingala. It's a possibility. Or it could be popping out of my seat all of a sudden because if I don't get to the bathroom, I'm going to poop my pants or pee them. Maybe I popped up because I forgot something and I better run to go get it. Maybe, I don't know, somebody pinched me. Or I need to dig underwear out of you-know-where. There are literally thousands of reasons why an individual, yes, even one who's known towards aggression, might pop out of their seat. A good majority of them have nothing to do with any sort of self-harm or violence towards another person. So it is a ridiculous argument that you shock them for bolting up out of their seats so they can stop aggressive behavior, because you're not psychic. You have no idea whether that person is jumping up out of their seat to come punch you in your torturing face, or whether they're jumping up because if they don't leave the bathroom right now, they're going to soil their pants. Something that we know for a fact that you will punish someone and shock them over as well. Your argument makes no sense, doctor. You can argue chain of events all you want to, but it doesn't make sense because there are myriads of reasons as why an individual, yes, one even prone to aggression or self-harm, may jump up out of their seats. Okay? It doesn't make sense. Okay? That's what New York was trying to tell you, but you don't want to listen. But 99% of the time, it's always aggressive. How do you know that? You got a psychic on staff that reads students' minds to tell you when they do an action automatically what it's going to lead to? That would be about as stupid as shocking someone for getting up in the morning because at some point during their day, they might beat someone up. Okay? It's a thought crime. It is an action that they have not taken. You're punishing them for an offense that they did not commit. Do you understand that? Do you understand that, doctor? That jumping out of one's seat, even if it is a person who may become aggressive, does not automatically mean that they are getting up to punch someone or to hurt themselves. Using basic logic could go a long way here. Okay? This is insane. It's not just nitpicking, it's insane. You cannot sit there and look me in the eye and tell me that you know that that student that just jumped out of their seat, whether they have a previous history with aggression or not, if that jump up out of the seat was because you could tell me whether it was because they had to go to the bathroom or was going to punch someone in the face. No one can. Except God. So it makes literal no sense to shock a student with 85 MPA for simply hopping out of their seat but it's the start in a chain. How do you know it's a start in a chain, doctor? Again, I ask you, are you psychic? Can you indicate to me in any way that is actual, literal, hard data that was actually done by anyone else other than yourself that can tell me that it is legitimate to torture someone for hopping out of their seat regardless of what their past is? Can you give me that data? Can you do it? The answer is no, because there's no way to be able to know why a person took that action unless you are that person, you're an actually provable psychic, or you're God. You're none of those things. Which means this whole practice, this whole concept and idea that you have that you are going to torture a person and punish them for a crime not committed is somehow going to make them not have those behaviors anymore nonsensical. You don't even legitimately know what you're punishing them for. You can sit there, but it's indicative of aggression. Or it could be indicative that I need to take a shit. It may be indicative that if I do not hop up and haul ass to the bathroom right that second, I'm going to piss myself in front of God and everyone. It can be indicative of a lot of things, doctor. Too many things, which makes it completely insane that you're going to punish a person for what you think they're jumping up for. Not taking into thought any other human behavior that they may be possibly having that would cause them to jump up out of their seat. Okay? There could be literally thousands of reasons. You are not psychic. And in spite of what you tell yourself and try to tell others, and though you try to play him, you're not God. Okay? Okay? You don't even have a legitimate reason as to why you're torturing that individual who got up from their seat longer than 3 seconds. Your so-called defense, but we're stopping the first chain of events, falls on its face when you can look at the logic that there are many reasons why an individual student might pop up out of their seat, all which are legitimate reasons and are not in any way, shape, or form punishable actions. You shouldn't be punishing these kids for these things, period. But your defenses that you use to try and defend yourself are completely insane. No legitimate doctor who works in your field would agree with this insanity, which is why every single study done that has been done since the 80s, when they stopped this on the more larger main part of the medical model, will legitimize this form of treatment. Because it makes no sense. It's unethical. You're committing literally a special level of what would be declared war crimes were a warring country to perpetuate that on prisoners of war, on innocent kids. And this is your defense. Yeah. We're going to close out on that one, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time. And as always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea do hope you have a good one. Bye-bye, everyone.